Welcome to My Life in Israel podcast, where I speak the truth with people about finding a solution to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict while combating anti-Semitism, anti-Israel, and anti-Zionist propaganda, and rant about Israeli politics and life in Israel. I also throw in some Judaism to spice things up. Welcome to My Life in Israel. Okay, today we're going to have a history lesson, and we're going to discuss this claim that the Arabs say that they're descended from the ancient Philistines, that they're called Palestinians because this is their land, and it's their land because they were descended from the ancient Philistines and the Canaanites. And I'm going to show you a video, first from Hamas, indoctrinating children into believing this, and also a video from Mahmoud Abbas from the PA saying this to adults and also invoking this claim. And this is a fairly new claim, but I believe that they're making this claim because they can't win an argument based on the facts any other way, according to history, because there's the Jews have the Bible and they have archaeological evidence of Jewish presence here going back to biblical times. And so the only way the Arabs can win the argument is to say that they were here before the original Israelites were here. And anybody that knows history knows that this is a ridiculous claim. But somehow everybody in the West seems to believe it. And they believe it because, the Arabs themselves are saying it. And they're very passionate about it. And they're willing to fight for it. And it seems like I've noticed that whatever the pro-Israel side says, I go to pro-Palestinian side, and they say that literally, like, anything that the pro-Israel side says is either Zionist propaganda, or they just legitimize and justify what the Palestinians do, the terror attacks, just the rockets, Hamas. They feel that anything is justified based on the fact that this is their land, that they claim that this is their land, and so everybody believes it because they themselves are saying it and they're passionate about it and whatever. So this is the claim, and I don't understand how the Arabs believe it themselves, other than they've been just indoctrinated from the time that they were children in school. This is what they're taught. It's in all the media, and they believe it, and it's part of their Arab culture, and it's part of Islam. To not question things, and to also to frankly hate the Jews. So it's not only the fact that they're fighting for this land, and whoever was here they would fight. It's also because it's the Jews, but they whitewash that part of it, and they use the euphemism of Zionists. It's really just a euphemism for Jews, but that's a whole other issue I can go into. But for another video. So let's watch these videos, and then I'll come back and talk more about it. Children at the Portage Kindergarten in Deir el-Balah, Gaza. We have a generation of children who will protect the pledge today, tomorrow, and the following day. No matter how much time shall pass, we will end the memory of that Balfour Declaration promise. Listen, Balfour, the rights of my country shall be restored. We shall bow down to no one but Allah. We are the Palestinians. We are your owners, O Palestine. We are planted in this land since the days of the Canaanites. We have our own Palestinian identity. Palestine free and proud. Palestine is ours. Facebook page of the PA Presidential Office, 8/18/19. We say to Israel, every stone you have built on our land, and every house you have built on our land, there is no escaping that they will disappear, Allah willing. And the more they announce houses here or settlements there, they will all disappear, Allah willing, and will be on history's garbage dump. And Israelis will remember that this land belongs to its people. This land belongs to its inhabitants. This land belongs to the Canaanites, who were here 5,000 years ago.
قبل 5000 سنة ونحن
And we are the Canaanites.
All right, did you see what they did there? They're combining Islam with the story that they're descended from the Philistines and the Canaanites, which is impossible. And so I'm going to show you maps of where the Philistines actually settled in this land, and give you a history lesson on that, because this is Islam 101. Everybody knows that Islam is descended from the Ishmaelites. Muhammad claims to be descended from one of Ishmael's 12 sons. And so, and they settled in Arabia. That's why the Arabs are called Arabs. Now, they try to combine this because they call themselves Arabs, and are proud to call themselves Arabs, and at the same time, they call themselves Palestinians, which is two distinct places and two distinct peoples. And like I said, people, they believe it because they've been indoctrinated to believe this. It's also more a part of Islam, why they want to believe it and why they want to deceive the West that this is their land. And they have to indoctrinate their children from the very beginning with this nationalistic idea. Because if they didn't, people would grow up just feeling that they're Arabs and Muslims and they belong in Arabia and not in Palestine. So, we're the Canaanites. First of all, this land, before the original Israelites settled here, it was not called Palestine, okay? The Philistines did not inhabit the whole land. The land was called the land of Canaan, okay? And the Philistines were only one tribe out of many tribes that settled in this land. And the Philistines and all the other tribes were actually all separate peoples, and they all inhabited the same land, okay? And they were all polytheists, pagans. And the Philistines only settled in the western coastline of what's now Israel, in Gaza, up along the coast and up down until Egypt and around Beersheba, because there's actual biblical accounts of Abraham encountering Philistines, and Abraham lived in the land of the Philistines at one point. So, but then you have Islam, who Muhammad is claimed to be descended from one of the sons of Ishmael. And where does Ishmael come from? That Ishmael is descended from Abraham, from Abraham's son, from his servant Hagar, who was from Egypt. So, on the one hand, they're mixing Islam with this whole idea that they're descended from the Philistines and Canaanites, when it's impossible, literally impossible. And they're making these claims, and they have no proof. They have no proof. They have no oral tradition. There's no tradition. There's nothing in the Quran saying that, oh, we long to go back to our land in Canaan, or we long to go back to our land of the Philistines. It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. Every archaeological thing that's dug up here, every time there's new construction, there's always new archaeological things that are found that proves not Arab, but Jewish origins in this land. Jews have lived in this land for 3,000 years, continuously. There's been some number of Jews. Even with the Arabs, the Jews lived. Everybody knows that. So, so I'm going to show you, we'll look at a map of the land of Canaan and where the Philistines were, and then we're going to look at a map of where the Ishmaelites settled, and then we'll come back and talk.
This map shows the tribes of the Canaanites before the Israelites conquered the land. There are 8 tribes, all scattered throughout the land. The Hittites, Amorites, Jebusites, Canaanites, Hivites, Hittites, Gergesenes, and Perizzites. And the Philistines only encompassed the southwestern lower part of the land. This map shows after the Israelites came and conquered the land of Canaan. The only tribe that was left are the Philistines, and they're still inhabiting the southwestern coastline up to into the middle of Israel. And this map shows where the Ishmaelites settled, and it's totally in the peninsula of Arabia, from all the way just outside Israel to all the way down to the bottom of the peninsula.
Okay, so now I'm going to show you another clip from Hamas from 2012, and it's a minister of Hamas talking to a minister in Egypt, begging for Egypt to help Hamas supply fuel to Gaza. And this is very telling because this proves that they are not descended from the Philistines or the Canaanites. Hamas clearly is wanting to portray themselves to the Egyptians as one of them, as Egyptians, as Arabs, as Muslims. And why aren't the Egyptians helping the people in Gaza, their fellow Arabs, their fellow Muslims? And he says in the clip that half the people are descended from Egyptians, the other half are descended from Saudis. And it's based on what their literal last names are. Their last names, a lot of them are al-Masri, which means Egyptian. Now, and Hamas is clearly saying that, and he's admitted that, and he's admitting that the families that live in Gaza, the people that live in Gaza, are descended from Egyptians and Arabia, Saudis, and Yemen, and so forth. So this is my proof. This is not Zionist propaganda. This is literally coming from Hamas's mouth. This is the deception that they're doing to deceive everyone, to make everybody think that this is their land. They on one hand want to claim that they're Arab and Muslims and want solidarity with other Muslims to help them, and then at the same time they are doing this so that they want to get rid of the Zionists. But if you listen to the whole video, he actually includes the U.S. in that as well. Hamas is not the West's friend. Hamas does not care about Americans. He only cares about getting money from them. So this is all a deception, and I'm trying to prove that to you right now. If they decide, if they ever, God forbid, actually accomplish getting rid of all the Jews and conquering this land again, then they're going to come after America. They're coming after you, Americans. This isn't just about this particular land. This is the ideology of the Muslims, of Islam. This is jihad. He mentions it. He literally mentions that this is jihad. So this is the reality, people. This is the reality. They're not just fighting us. They're fighting the West. They're fighting everybody. They're fighting you. They're fighting America. They're fighting Europe. They would if they could. It's all a matter of time to them. So listen to the video and see for yourself.
Hamas Minister of the Interior Fatih Hamad, March 23, 2012. Is Egypt incapable of supplying fuel for 1.5 to 2 million people in the Gaza Strip? If you do not point your compass toward Palestine, Al-Aqsa, and Jerusalem, in order to uproot the Zionist enemy, the U.S. will trample you underfoot. It will besiege you with its conspiracies and will finish you off. Therefore, you must hoist the banner of jihad, the banner of there is no God but Allah. Brothers, there are 1.8 million of us in Gaza. In Egypt, there are about 90 million people. We equal merely 2% of the Egyptian population. Supplying us with fuel would not burden you at all. At Al-Aqsa and on the land of Palestine, all the conspiracies throughout history have been shattered. The conspiracies of the Crusaders and the conspiracies of the Tatars. At Al-Aqsa and on the land of Palestine, the Battle of Hattin was waged. The West does not want this noble history to repeat itself, because the Jews and their allies would be annihilated, the Zionists, the Americans, and the imperialists. Thus, the conspiracy is very clear. Al-Aqsa and the land of Palestine represent the spearhead for Islam and for the Muslims. Therefore, when we seek the help of our Arab brothers, we are not seeking their help in order to eat, to live, to drink, to dress, or to live a life of luxury. No. When we seek their help, it is in order to continue to wage jihad. Allah be praised, We all have Arab roots, and every Palestinian in Gaza and throughout Palestine can prove his Arab roots, whether from Saudi Arabia, from Yemen, or anywhere. We have blood ties, so where is your affection and mercy? Personally, half my family is Egyptian. We are all like that. More than 30 families in the Gaza Strip are called Al-Masri, Egyptian. Brothers, half of the Palestinians are Egyptians, and the other half are Saudis. Who are the Palestinians? We have many families called Al-Masri, whose roots are Egyptian. They may be from Alexandria, from Cairo, from Dumatia, from the north, from Aswan, from Upper Egypt. We are Egyptians, we are Arabs, we are Muslims. We are a part of you. Allah Akbar, all praise to Allah. Allah Akbar. How can you keep silent, O Muslims, when the people of Gaza are dying? You watch from the sidelines without providing them with the simplest thing, which you give to the West for the most meager price.
All right, so the last thing I want to talk about is just, some of you may say after listening to that okay, that's just got Hamas. That's not the Gaza people. That you want to make a distinction between Hamas as a terrorist organization and the people of Gaza. And that's not necessarily true. The people of Gaza are still Arabs, they're still Muslims, and they think the same. They still think that this is their land and that they are willing to fight for it and they want Israel gone. And so a lot of them support Hamas. It's not just Hamas by itself doing everything. They have support. And you see in the video, children being taught these things in school. You don't think the parents know that their children are being taught this? There are literal summer camps in Gaza where children go to learn actual military training with guns and military techniques. Like it's a literal military training camps for children, and the parents willingly send their children to these camps. So this idea that, you want to say, Israel is killing all, children in Gaza when they fight back or whatever. The people in Gaza willingly want their children to fight. So this is not, they're not innocent people. And so this really needs to be told. But like I said, it all goes back to them thinking that this is their land. And so this is why I'm making this channel, is to show you whose land this is. And so I need to make another video about the Jewish claim to this land, because some of you want to claim that the Jews that are here are not real Jews, or not the original Jews. And so don't leave me any comments about that, because I'm going to address that in another video. So until then, share, like, comment, subscribe, and stay tuned, because I have a lot more to say.
Thanks for listening to My Life in Israel podcast. Follow me on TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube for non-podcast videos. If you enjoyed the podcast, like, share, comment, and follow me on Spotify and other podcast apps so you never miss another episode. Support my work and support Israel by making a one-time or monthly donation, or become a subscriber to get access to exclusive content. The links are in my profile and description. And stay tuned, because I have a lot more to say. Am Israel High.